In this week's reaction video, we saw a talk about the new age of corporation monopolies. So the speaker started off by talking about Europe during the World War and how there were people that were unhappy with how the government was back then and how they wanted to change it, and how they started off with building blocks of making Europe great, like the economy great again. And so they started off, they had a common theme between all the people that met, and it was the what the theme was European Union wanted to make Europe great again. They wanted to make them a top economy again. So the European Union back then had rules about products to make it making it fair between different companies. So the pretty much the gist of the whole rule was not giving a certain competitive advantage to other companies, and making it easier for other companies to be able to compete in the market. So, for example, I don't know, maybe they had a car manufacturing company back then in Europe. Say it was Fiat. I don't know. And then we'll say Volkswagen wanted to join in. So the rule with the European Union was that it didn't give one company a bigger advantage when trying to do that. It helped. It made it fair so both the two companies could participate in it. So then she goes to talk about why we need rules on competition. Because she said the more for this is like more for the consumer. The more competition there is, the lower the prices there are, and then the more higher quality. Because you think the prices are going to lower because there's going to be multiple companies all making the same thing. They're going to want to be the lowest price so more people buy their product, and so that's how the low price aspect ties in, and the higher quality. Again, you're going to have multiple companies all battling for the same market. So if one company makes a product better, the other company's going to try and just always be one step ahead of them. So competition can be inconvenient, and that's more for the company's standpoint, and that's just because the race never ends. There's always someone that's going to try to be better than you. With two different companies, we'll just kind of go with probably one of the more recent ones that a lot of people know about are like PlayStation and Xbox. Those two companies, owned by different people, owned by Sony, owned by Microsoft, they're always trying to one up each other. I would say that's probably a good part of the competition in that standpoint, because they're always improving their gaming systems, which allow them to reach more market systems and then actually sell more products, because since they're redoing all their gaming systems, people are going to buy the new gaming system because they're better. So another thing she talks about is the norms that in Europe they had. She agreed with one norm that we have for democracy, and that's to make leaders hand over power. And competition does the same thing. So you have two companies. You may have a powerhouse company like Apple on the phone, and then let's talk about LG's probably trying to make phones too. Here's another example. So with that competition, it kind of hurts Apple's power, because there's another phone that, I mean, if they have a better technology in their phone, they have to kind of relinquish some of their power, and then they would have to then like kind of their power kind of decreases, and that also allows companies not to abuse their power as well. So she kind of gives an example of this. She uses car parts. Well, she uses cars, and each car has many car parts. But all the car companies only use a few suppliers. The suppliers could, as she said in her video, the suppliers could all come together as one and make fixed costs, which would over time make the product more expensive. Overseas affects companies to compete, because it gives companies an unfair advantage because of offshoring. I mean, companies we see now more are sending products that need to get made overseas because they can just get it for cheaper, which allows them to sell products cheaper and gives them an unfair competitive advantage. The next thing we're going to talk about is, she talks about trust. I mean, we all have to trust. We have to trust in each other if we want like the same chances and the same rules. I mean, she gave the example of like we trust strangers every day, of doctors and mechanics, and how like we just trust them that they're going to fix our car, they're going to fix our health. She goes, competition rules allow for trust, because I mean, if two companies are battling and they have set rules and they both follow the rules, the companies will trust each other, that one company will not try to overstep boundaries and try to make the other company look bad. Then she goes to talk about technology, and technology can help create trust, but it can also create challenges. I mean, technology is just everywhere we see it today. I mean, everyone has phones, TVs, laptops, anything. All the technology is always improving, and we trust like the main companies, like Apple and LG and Frigidor for fridges. And we trust these companies because we know more about them, and so like we trust that technology because of past experience of buying. But the challenge it creates is, she talked about how people in Europe do not trust online companies, because I'm gonna assume most people have getting ripped off. I mean you may see an ad for, buy this cell phone for super cheap, and you might fall for it at some point in time, or you get the fake emails of send this person money, they send you more back, and you just get burnt. And that technology side allows for people not to trust in technology anymore. She finishes her conversation by talking about how Europe is an open business, but is not open for just random taxation. Then she asked her daughters about their technology uses, why they use Google for everything, and they said because it works. It works. They know it works because they've been using it for a long time. As I said just a few minutes ago, about how we base companies' products off of our past experiences. And the last thing I'm going to talk about here, she talked about congratulations, and congratulations isn't really said anymore because some companies are misusing powers, so you can't really congratulate someone that's misusing your powers to hurt other companies.